In the pale golden light of early morning, a wide timber yard stretched out, filled with stacks of logs piled high in every direction. The distinct scent of oak wood hung heavily in the air, mingling with the sharp smell of fuel oil from chainsaws that had been running since dawn. In the middle of this scene stood a craftsman, his faded work shirt clinging to his back, his hands hardened with calluses, and his eyes narrowed in concentration. He was beginning a task that seemed small, yet demanded patience, skill, and years of experience, shaping a flawless hammer handle from a raw block of oak. Before him lay a freshly cut section of oak, about 80 centimeters long and 15 centimeters thick, taken straight from a massive tree. Oak is known for its hardness, durability, and dense grain, making it one of the best choices for tool handles. The craftsman knew that even the slightest misstep in the shaping process could cause cracks or weaknesses, ruining the entire piece. He placed the log securely on the ground, adjusted his stance, and slowly pulled the starter cord of his chainsaw. The engine roared to life, its blade spinning furiously, shattering the morning calm with its sharp, metallic scream. With steady, confident hands, he began cutting the oak into smaller, more manageable blocks, removing unnecessary portions to form a straight billet suitable for carving. Wood chips scattered in all directions with each slice, and the heat of the blade released a smoky, resinous aroma unique to oak. When he finished, he stopped the saw, silence falling again over the yard. Running his rough fingers over the freshly cut surface, he tested its smoothness, weight, and balance. Now came the delicate work. Setting the chainsaw aside, he reached for a long, razor-sharp woodworking knife, one he had personally honed countless times. He fixed the billet onto a sturdy block and began shaving away thin curls of wood. Each stroke peeled back a ribbon of oak, which fell to the ground in spirals, forming a small mound around his feet. Slowly, the rough billet began to transform, the shape of a handle emerging under his skilled hands. The craftsman worked with precision, carving a curve here, slimming down a section there. A hammer handle must balance strength with comfort. Too thick, and it tires the arm. Too thin, and it risks breaking under force. Time and again, he paused, holding the unfinished handle in his grip, testing its weight and feel, then returning to refine it further. His process was as much intuition as it was experience, guided by years of practice and an unspoken connection with the wood. By midday, the sun cast patches of bright light across the timber yard. Sweat glistened on his forehead and trickled down his weathered face, yet he worked on unhurried, his focus unbroken. The chainsaw rested quietly nearby, its noise replaced by the steady rhythm of knife strokes. Slowly, the oak billet transformed into a sleek, well-proportioned handle, the head end thicker to secure the hammer, the middle section shaped for comfort, and the lower end subtly curved to lock securely into the user's grip. Hours passed, and finally the handle took on its finished form. He brushed away the fine dust clinging to its surface and began sanding it with coarse and then fine paper, bringing out the natural beauty of the oak grain. Under his touch, the wood grew smooth, its swirling patterns resembling flowing streams captured in solid form. Holding it proudly, he felt the solid resilience of oak, a material that, when treated correctly, could last decades. To protect and preserve his work, he rubbed the handle with a thin coat of oil, deepening its color and adding a sheen that highlighted the grain. The smell of oil mixed with the wood's earthy aroma, a scent that spoke of durability and craftsmanship. In his hands now was no longer just a piece of wood, but a true hammer handle, strong, reliable, and ready for hard labor. For a moment, he stepped back and admired it, satisfaction softening his tired features. Around him, other workers glanced over and nodded approvingly. They all knew how much skill and care went into making something as seemingly ordinary as a tool handle. A well-made handle not only improves efficiency but also protects the worker who uses it, reducing strain and preventing accidents. Behind every simple tool lies a story of patience, dedication, and skill passed down through generations. As the afternoon light began to fade, he picked up a heavy steel hammerhead and carefully fitted it onto the handle. A few steady taps secured it firmly in place. The sound was solid, reassuring, a perfect marriage of steel and wood. He gripped the hammer, swung it lightly a few times, and smiled. It felt balanced, strong, alive in his hand. That moment captured more than the completion of a tool. It was a reflection of his craft, his life's work, and his bond with the materials he shaped. In the fading light, standing among piles of timber, the craftsman and his newly made hammer seemed almost like a monument, quiet but powerful, a testament to honest labor and timeless skill. From a raw oak log to a finished handle, the journey had required strength, precision, and artistry. What emerged was not just an accessory to a tool but an embodiment of the craftsman's dedication. To anyone else, it might be just a hammer handle. To him, it was proof of his trade, his pride, and his enduring love for the art of working with wood.